Typically, we come in about 8 o'clock in the morning, and first thing we do is take the dogs outside in the exercise pens, and then we work on picking up their food bowls and cleaning out their cages and disinfecting them and that kind of thing. We are funded in a large part by private donations, so not only do we have the city budget, but there's some families who have helped us out quite a bit. To get to the adoption center, everything has to go through the shelter. And we have a hold period to wait to see if the owners want to come and claim their animal and that kind of thing, make sure they're not sick. A lot of times the owners actually bring them in and surrender them. We do about 50-50 strays with the dogs, and then owners bring them in. And they can have a wide variety of reasons, from removing the dog's too big, it barks, to I just decided I didn't want a dog. It's not a very good reason. None of us, nobody that works here likes it. People really need to be more responsible. A long time ago, before I worked here, I was actually looking for a dog, and somebody had brought in a golden retriever puppy that they labeled as aggressive because they got the puppy for their 9-month-old daughter, and the puppy knocked over their daughter trying to play. And you do get that kind of thing. Especially with smaller dogs, adults don't always watch them. They can nip at kids. Most of the time it's just, we don't want a fence in our yard, we don't want to chain the dog, and we don't want the dog in the house. Those are usually the three biggest things. The shelter is actually 2 to 3 times bigger than the adoption center, and it stays full. There's always more coming in, always. My favorite part about working here is when you have a dog who meets a family and they click. We had a family come in one time not too long ago whose son was developmentally challenged. He was kind of slow, he was 6, and I think they said he was on a 2 or 3-year-old level. And the husband didn't really want a dog at all, but the mother thought it would be therapeutic. So they were looking at small dogs, and they were all too energetic for the family. But we had this one massive puppy. I mean, he was 2.5 feet tall. The woman agreed to take him out, and the husband, who didn't even want a dog, fell in love. And they came back the next week and brought him home. So seeing that click is the best part. We did have the little puppy come in. He had come in when he was about 4 weeks old. He should have still been with his mama. He was blind in one eye, he still is, and really skinny, really wormy. Every time I came in the room, he'd stop screaming. And the day his time was up, I took him home, and I've still got him. A lot of times we'll be at the shelter and going, but it's such a good dog, and then somebody says they're all good dogs. That's really the position that we're all stuck in. I really wish that everyone had to visit the shelter before they were allowed to get an animal, and just to see what happens. There have been days I've come home from work and done nothing but cry. There have been good days too. It's a stressful job, and people really don't understand that. There was an Elon student who brought his dog up here and turned it in. He signed the paperwork. Several days later came back to get him back, and he was gone. And he brought him in, and he said that he was a nuisance. He was barking. The dog's name was Petey. And people just slammed everybody at the shelter. If you work for the shelter, people just look down on you so much, and they don't realize just what we're doing because they haven't been responsible with their animals. People ask me how I like my job. I just look at them, I still haven't figured out how to answer. I love finding them homes. And in a lot of cases, when you have an incredibly sick or malnourished animal, the best thing for it is to put it to sleep. So, I mean, sometimes it's a good thing, but it's an interesting to describe job. If you can tell it's a good, responsible family, it's really nice. It's, I guess, calm would be it. It's, you know, that animal has a home. We had a woman walk out with a cat today, and everybody told the cat, you know, you're going home now.